It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. There's a persistent sense of weariness in your soul, a silent admission that you've been laboring under burdens you never asked for, while also carrying hopes you feared would never come to fruition. You might be yearning for a moment when you can finally exhale, a place or a person where you feel entirely at rest. Deep down, both you and someone who mirrors your journey have grown tired of the wandering, tired of half-built dreams that fizzle out, tired of forging ahead alone while longing for a genuine partnership. This is the season where, as a chosen one, you are guided into a promise of shared refuge, an actual home, not just walls and a roof. This union, orchestrated by divine force, is a haven where both of you find that rest you've long sought, and no external circumstance can uproot it. If you sense that readiness in your heart, an openness to the rest and renewal that is meant for you, please like this video, subscribe, and comment 77 below to confirm you're ready for this transforming grace. Chapter 1. Where you've been feels temporary. For as long as you can remember, you've held a notion that your present situation is transit. Whether it's the literal space you occupy, a rented apartment that never felt like home, or the emotional distance between you and a partner who's not truly aligned, something about your surroundings feels less than permanent. You've adapted, made do with cramped corners or emotional compromises, telling yourself it's all part of a necessary phase. Yet each time you settle into these circumstances, a quiet voice inside insists that the real blessing lies elsewhere, just out of reach. This sense of temporariness might have become so ingrained you hardly question it. Day by day, you go through the motions, pay the bills, manage 1,000 details, try to muster gratitude for what is working. But in rare moments, maybe late at night, maybe in the hush of a sunrise, you catch yourself longing for more than a pit stop. You long for a stable ground that doesn't shift beneath your feet. Sometimes you even wonder if it's a foolish dream, another daydream that will drift away come morning. But the truth is, for you, impermanence has played a role in your destiny. As a chosen one, you weren't meant to anchor down in spaces that couldn't support your evolving spiritual identity. Just as a caterpillar outgrows one leaf before finding another, you've been moving through a series of almost but not quite experiences to refine your sense of what truly matters. This has included not just physical locations, but also relationships that felt comfortable yet never quite provided the safe emotional harbor you yearned for. Yet the time for transcendence is coming to an end. A shift is brewing, quietly dismantling the old illusions that you must wander indefinitely. You may not feel it in your bones yet, but watch how small coincidences point toward a stable landing. A friend references a perfect house or city. A partner expresses a strong desire to build something lasting with you. You stumble upon a new dimension of faith that says your hopes aren't naive in the midst of the daily grind. These are more than coincidences. They're heralds of a deeper cosmic arrangement. You might still wrestle with doubt. How do I know this is it and not just another step? But each time that worry surfaces, remember you've already navigated the deserts, gleaned lessons from ephemeral sojourns. You've proven you can adapt and survive, but your soul yearns for more than survival. It's a yearning not just for a place to sleep at night, but a sanctuary for your spirit, a bond where you don't have to question whether you're truly home. You'll see the signs gather momentum, messages, opportunities, or a shared intuition with someone who feels exactly the same longing. So step forward. That more you ache for is intimately tied to someone who, like you, is done being half-supported. Together you approach a new horizon that promises the warmth and rest you both need, anchored in a plan greater than your own designing. Chapter 2. Why both of you feel so weary. At first glance, you might attribute your tiredness to life's usual strains. Long work days, unresolved emotional baggage, or a daily routine that never gives you space to breathe. And yes, all those factors play a role. But there's also a spiritual dimension to your weariness, a profound sense that you've been carrying more than just personal burdens. Both you and this person you're destined to unite with have felt an extra weight on your hearts, like you're responsible for tasks and transformations that reach beyond your immediate circumstances. This heaviness might manifest as an existential fatigue, but you're no longer satisfied with superficial solutions or small talk. Each of you yearns for a depth that can't be satisfied by fleeting affections or short-term changes. Perhaps people around you see only the surface version of fatigue, chalking it up to mundane stress. But in your quieter hours, you sense that you're undergoing a spiritual realignment, discarding old skins that no longer define you. And that process is as draining as it is renewing. For some, this weariness is connected to a pattern of broken attempts at stability. You might have tried forging relationships that seemed promising, only to watch them unravel for reasons you couldn't quite articulate. Meanwhile, your counterpart endured similar heartbreak, leaving them equally cautious. Each heartbreak chipped away at your resilience until both of you felt uncertain if genuine security was possible. But ironically, that shared skepticism is the very trait that might bond you. You each understand the heartbreak of unfulfilled promise. People might call it burnout, but you know it's more layered. The exhaustion is rooted in an almost unfulfilled calling, a sense that you have a place in this world that will fit like a glove. Yet it remains elusive. The same goes for your potential partner. Each of you, in your separate corners of existence, has been pressing forward, repeating mantras of perseverance while your souls quietly whisper, "We shouldn't have to do this alone." Deep down, you realize the solitary grind is wearing thin. Enter the idea of a shared path, a union that doesn't remove life's challenges, but divides the weight more evenly. It's not about another person saving you, but about co-creating a sanctuary that neither of you has to hold up single-handedly. The weariness transforms from a personal ache into a shared impetus to build something stable and powerful. You both realize that your weariness doesn't signify defeat. It signals readiness for a deeper form of companionship. And so the spiritual realms begin clearing obstacles, bridging the paths of two souls who need each other's presence to reach the next level of their destiny. The exhaustion you feel is, in part, a yearning for that person who truly sees you and stands alongside you in life's chaos. No more lopsided giving or alone in a crowd feeling. You both crave an anchor point that's mutual and unwavering. This universal ache is precisely what will catalyze your union, pulling you inevitably toward the partnership that's been quietly prepared, waiting for the exact moment you both realize you're stronger together than apart. Chapter 3. The Nature of Divine Providence. If you glance back at the chapters of your life, you might notice a pattern of near-miss opportunities or surprising redirections that, in hindsight, prevented you from settling too soon. It wasn't random misfortune or a cosmic joke. These events shaped your readiness for the union now on the horizon. Looking at it through the lens of faith, it becomes clear that God's protective hand orchestrated each pivot, ensuring that neither you nor your future partner got locked into a situation unworthy of your combined potential. Divine providence isn't always gentle. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak or disappointment. Other times it appears as an unexpected job transfer that tears you away from a city you thought you'd never leave. Yet years later, you see how each twist readied you for a relationship rooted in authenticity, not in an arrangement of convenience or compromise. You realize that had you forced certain relationships to work, you might have remained in stagnation, never discovering the shared destiny that awaits you. It is equally important to note that divine providence extends to your partner's experiences too. While you were forging your own path, they were stumbling through lessons of their own, learning about loyalty, heartbreak, or the quiet longing for a deeper sense of belonging. Though you walked parallel roads, there was an unseen synergy at play, guiding you both into the emotional maturity required to sustain this profound union. Each heartbreak or closed door in their life also served as a protective measure, ensuring they would be free and available when the timing was finally right. As you approach this new chapter, you might realize that what was once heartbreak turned out to be strange mercy. The rejections or setbacks shaped you, polishing away illusions and teaching you to set clear boundaries. Now, when this coming union emerges, you can meet it with an unguarded heart, tempered by wisdom, not naive or cynical. Both parties stand to benefit from a form of love that's unbelievably rich in trust and transparency. Comforting. That shift in perspective is, of course, providence doesn't override free will. You still hold the choice to accept or reject this unfolding plan. Fear may tempt you to cling to your comfort zone or to dismiss the significance of this partnership. But the signs, repetitive confirmations, that abiding sense of calm in each other's presence or the uncanny alignment of your paths should speak loudly enough. Yes, you can try to outrun destiny, but in the quiet of your soul, you'll know whether that's just your residual fear or if there's a genuine misalignment. In the end, the notion that God is giving you both a home isn't just a poetic turn of phrase. It's a real promise that your past wandering was always leading here. The kindness of the cosmos, or of God, is that it doesn't demand you figure. This time it's permanent. If your mind echoes questions like, could this last? Can I trust this sense of security? Know that these reservations reflect the scars of past disappointments. You might have once considered a connection or a place permanent, only for it to crumble under unforeseen stress. Everything out instantly. It merely invites you to step forward with trust. Each day, each conversation, each new small miracle will confirm that you are precisely where you are meant to be, on the precipice of a relationship forged by divine orchestration and guarded by blessings you once could only imagine. Chapter 4. Forging the foundation of a shared home. The idea of a home together isn't merely about cohabitating. It's about creating a sanctuary that embodies both your spirits, where you can shed the day's battles in the presence of someone who knows your heart. As you and this destined partner come closer, tangible decisions may need to be made. Where do we live? How do we blend finances or personal schedules? Yet beyond these surface choices lies the question of alignment. What do we both stand for? What kind of culture do we want within our walls? In many ways, the foundation of your shared home begins long before you pick out furniture or sign a lease. It starts with open conversations. Early on, you both may discover your core values overlap more than you anticipated, whether it's a mutual yearning for tranquility, a love for hosting friends, or a shared dream of raising a family grounded in faith. These discussions shape a blueprint, and it's not about forced agreement. Sometimes you'll differ. Maybe one envisions a minimalist lifestyle, while the other yearns for cozy clutter. Yet with genuine mutual respect, you find a middle ground that honors both sets of preferences. Another layer in building this foundation is healing your personal ties to the concept of home. For many, home can recall childhood wounds, where parents fought incessantly or stability was never guaranteed. If that resonates, fear could creep in. Am I repeating an old pattern? Will we sabotage something good? These worries are normal, but can be disarmed when you address them squarely. Share these vulnerabilities with each other. Rather than avoiding tough conversations, openly talk about your triggers. By doing so, you both set the precedent that your partnership thrives on transparency, that any cracks in the home's foundation are properly addressed. As the vision grows clearer, you notice a shift in your daily perspective. Tasks that once felt routine, completing projects, managing finances, take on new meaning when anchored in the thought that you're building a stable sanctuary together. Even mundane chores become acts of love, small investments in a future that's not hypothetical anymore. A cup of coffee left on the counter for them, a carefully sorted budget. It's all proof that you're weaving your lives into one supportive tapestry, each thread reinforcing the other. That sense of co-creation also extends beyond the physical. Together, you might explore spiritual or emotional rituals, quiet reflection at the end of the day, gratitude prayers before meals, or nightly check-ins about how each of you is feeling. These small but meaningful habits carve out an emotional safety net. Over time, these rituals become second nature, representing the beating heart of your collective life. In those shared moments, you'll realize how special it is to live with someone who not only respects your need for peace, but actively contributes to it. Eventually, the concept of our home ceases to be an abstract dream and becomes the tangible atmosphere you both inhabit. You'll find the synergy to paint your world with comfortable routines, bold dreams, and the intangible warmth that arises when two hearts beat in sync. Others may sense the difference just by stepping into your space or witnessing your interactions. It emanates a peace they'll want for themselves. You, on the other hand, might simply feel it as a quiet certainty, a belief that no matter how far you've wandered in the past, you've finally come home together. Chapter 5. Why? The difference now lies in the deeper transformation you've undergone. In your prior attempts, you might not have been this grounded in self-awareness or anchored in a shared spiritual alignment. Plus, your counterpart has likewise evolved, forging a readiness that wasn't present before. Permanent doesn't imply an absence of evolution. It means the bond, the home you form, can adapt gracefully to life's changes instead of fracturing at the first major test. The resilience stems from your combined willingness to communicate honestly, to recenter on mutual purpose, and to actively preserve a loving environment. You realize that longevity is less about perfect harmony at all times and more about the commitment to address disharmony swiftly. Beyond personal readiness, there's also an overarching spiritual endorsement. It's as though the universe or God wove together your respective journeys to ensure each element lines up. Now, the synergy of chance meetings, timely revelations, and the sudden quieting of past obstacles points to a scenario where external friction can't derail what's organically meant to stand. In simpler terms, fate has done its part, clearing the path, leaving you both free to unite without the usual labyrinth of contradictory signals. Moreover, the sense of home you're achieving doesn't revolve around outward success, like owning property or flaunting a public image. Rather, it resides in the intangible bond you share, an emotional and spiritual sanctuary transcending geography. Yes, you may eventually settle on a specific living space, but the real permanence comes from the unwavering devotion that survives personal growth spurts, unforeseen crises, or even the normal ebb and flow of romance over time. Think of how a deep-rooted tree weathers storms. The trunk might sway, leaves might fall, but the roots hold firm. This union, nurtured by something beyond both of you, behaves similarly. Temporary conflicts don't shake its core. The stillness in your mutual presence confirms it's more than a fleeting spot. And if illusions do creep in, they're confronted swiftly with honesty, leaving no room for the rot that erodes lesser bonds. Still, your minds might wrestle with the notion that all this steadiness is too good to be true. It's actually a sign you're stepping into what you prayed for or daydreamed about. And that unfamiliar sense of true security can feel uncomfortable at first. But gradually, the strangeness of peace wanes, replaced by gratitude for the authenticity that saturates the connection. You don't have to second-guess each other's intentions or fear a sudden desertion. No, the story you're writing this time is built on a foundation you both meticulously readied, guided by a push from divine forces that want to see this partnership flourish. Chapter 6. Gentle Pathways. Forward with the tangible sense of a home, both spiritual and physical, materializing, you may wonder about the practical steps. While it's tempting to plunge into finalizing details, establishing big commitments overnight can be overwhelming. A simpler route is to let your combined harmony steer you forward organically. Even small gestures like shared grocery shopping or planning a weekend getaway reveal how well your day-to-day rhythms mesh. Each positive experience cements your confidence in the partnership, reinforcing the notion that your union is more than a fleeting whim. There's also beauty in letting each other's strengths flourish. If one is naturally organized, let them orchestrate certain logistics. If the other thrives at creating warmth in a living space, grant them that creative freedom. Instead of micromanaging or insisting on dividing tasks rigidly, you find synergy in complementing each other's gifts. And synergy extends into how you handle finances, emotional labor, and spiritual practice. The result is a life that feels more effortless, both of you pulling together in a flow that none can replicate alone. Of course, tension may occasionally emerge, but the difference lies in how quickly and compassionately you respond to it. By addressing concerns in real time rather than letting them fester, you preserve the clarity that's anchored the relationship from day one. It might feel odd at first, confronting even small misunderstandings so directly. But with repetition, you see how such honesty fortifies your bond rather than threatening it. It's like maintaining a garden. Regular pruning keeps it lush and healthy, whereas ignoring weeds leads to chaos. Then there's the matter of faith. Whether you phrase it as God, the universe, or your inner moral compass, the sense that a higher wisdom orchestrates your union encourages you to maintain consistent gratitude. Perhaps you open each morning with a brief spiritual reflection together, or set aside a few minutes weekly to discuss both your individual and shared visions. This habit doesn't require you to align on every spiritual nuance, but it fosters an environment where talk of deeper matters feels natural. In adversity, you lean on that shared faith, trusting the unstoppable nature of your union. As you proceed, you recognize that this connection doesn't isolate you from the world. Instead, it radiates outward, subtly uplifting people in your orbit who might be longing for a sign that love and stability are still possible. Friends might turn to you for advice on relationships or home building because they observe how you handle challenges without fracturing your bond. And while you may not have all the answers, you can truthfully share the principle that humility and mutual commitment shaped your thriving partnership. It's worth noting that none of this demands perfection. No matter how harmonized you are, life remains life, unpredictable, messy, full of unsuspected twists. Yet each challenge becomes a chance to reaffirm your pledge, that you won't allow passing storms to overshadow the brightness of the home you're building together. Faith and unity remain your secret weapons. Even small friction dissolves swiftly under the luminous blend of mutual respect and spiritual alignment. The path stays gentle, not because you avoid the world's chaos, but because you navigate it hand in hand, sustained by the abiding certainty that this is exactly where you're meant to be. Chapter 7. Allowing the gift to fulfill itself. You wake each day with quiet awe, sensing a shift you once only imagined. Ordinary moments, washing dishes together, sharing future dreams, reading in silence, feel like tiny rituals. In that calm, you realize nothing drastic is required. Your union is completing itself through steady presence, guided by a hand larger than your own. This last stretch is pure surrender. No frantic timelines, no perfect plan, no anxiety. Each day you choose love over fear, intimacy over isolation, and discover how effortlessly everything clicks, puzzle pieces sliding into place without force. You begin noticing how the partnership reshapes your outer world. A job suddenly offers remote flexibility. A home appears at an impossible discount. Delays evaporate. These coincidences confirm that mutual alignment dissolves walls that once felt immovable. Friends ask how it happened, and words fall short. You can outline your growth, list uncanny synchronicities, but the deeper chemistry resists tidy explanation. That mystery is proof of its divinity. Every heartbreak, every season of wandering, was sandpaper that smoothed you both into shapes that now interlock. Understanding why is less important than honoring that it is. So you move forward with calm confidence. Practical tasks await: house hunting, contracts, logistics. But the foundation is set. Minor hiccups only remind you how much bigger storms you've already braved. The promise, God is giving you a home together, has shifted from hopeful prophecy to lived reality. Your faith opened the door. Your daily devotion keeps it propped wide. You don't need a full map of tomorrow. The essential milestone, a shared sanctuary for your intertwined lives, has settled beneath your feet. From this anchored place, new chapters will unfold naturally, fueled by the certainty that the love guiding you here is durable, expansive, and utterly unstoppable.